Hello there, beautiful beings. How is everybody doing on this solstice day? Here we are, and I have something very special for you today. I am sharing with you for the first time ever a StarPeace StarMaps reading. And if you have missed the memo, I am Rozyglow. I'm the founder of the StarPeace movement. We are living in the most phenomenal time. I know for many, we're going to feel as though this isn't the case, but I have just published a book called StarPeace 101, How to Create Peace in One Generation. This is available on Amazon, and it is an absolute game changer, okay? For anyone here who knows you're part of this mission to raise the frequency of this planet, to help bring peace to Earth through your own example, this is for you, my dear. So whether you recognize yourself as a starseed, an empath, a light worker, a highly sensitive person, I see every one of us who identify with any of these labels as the co-creators of the New Earth paradigm. And what is absolutely essential for us to co-create the New Earth reality we desire, I call Paradise Earth, is for us to be heart-centered and soul-activated, which is exactly what this book is about. It's a divine matrix activation manual. If you've ever read ET 101, it's super cool. This is the development of ET 101, and it's really making things super simple for us awakening and awakened humans to be able to fulfill our soul mission, which is to activate the peace codes in ourselves and therefore to have a vibrational frequency that resonates with peace. And we basically cancel out all the other crap that's going on in this world. So if you don't know who I am, hello. I am a soul empath success coach. I'm a multidimensional success coach. I work with the influencers, the wayshowers, the high profile starseeds in this world today. I say that I work with the few that influence the many because there is such a role that entertainment plays and creativity and art in the actual creation of the New Earth paradigm, because it's all in the power of our imagination. There'll be a separate video that is a reading on what's actually going on and my interpretation of what's going to be going in the next 12 months or so as we move through the next solar cycle. But for now, I'm going to take you through this reading. Now, one of the objectives of this book is to get you to fall in love with the upcoming Oracle cards. And I haven't got them ready yet, but what I wanted to do was show you how to work with the star maps in the book now. So there are star maps in the book, and you can purchase the book from Amazon. See, they're in here. And the thing is, the whole point of these star maps is they're designed to actually support you to get from wherever you're stuck in a 3D mindset, which we all have elements of shadow that will be stuck there. So please don't see this as you doing something wrong, because you're not, to your 5D plus frequency, which allows you to really embody your soul consciousness and mitigate the circumstances that otherwise would limit you or limit your impact one way or another. Okay, so now as we're in the solstice energy, we're either in the longest night or the longest day energy. So either we're getting to see a huge panoramic bird's eye view, celebrationary style with the brightest day of how far we've come. You can view what's ahead, you can view what's behind, and really get that sense of where you'd like to go next. Or you're in the depths of the darkness, this point of no time where you get to seed your highest intentions that you would like to bear fruit in the next 3 months as we come to spring, and in the next 6 months as we come to summer. And that point in the cycle, which is, it's actually not midsummer, it's actually the point before midsummer. It's like everything is ahead and it's setting the tone. Okay, so one of the key invitations for those of us who are here to create the New Earth paradigm is to vision it so that we are steps ahead. And by that, I mean with our visioning of what we would like to see in this world, because as we hold the frequency of it, we're then able to actualize it. So here is the reading. And what I'll say for you is I have these beautiful A4 size versions of the Oracle cards. Okay, now these will be made available to those of you who pre-order and pay for the Oracle cards as soon as we've got a payment system organized. At this point, if you look in the text box of this video or you're on the page, there is actually the sign up page for the star map readings or the star map cards. You will be able to register your interest. And for those of you who decide to book a divine matrix activation call with me, this is where I take you through a reading and I channel the StarPeace collective to help you get in any area of your life that you want to shift from where you are to where you want to be. then that's when we will also gift you these PDFs A4 size. So if you want to print them up and laminate them, you can. But the main thing is I'm going to show you today how you can do a reading with the star maps that are in the book, which you can buy from Amazon, by the way. And if you do buy from Amazon, thank you for reviewing. Thank you for, rating so that it can become more visible. I'm just going to show you how you can do it all with a piece of paper. Okay, so this is an A4 piece of paper, which I have folded down the middle. And basically all I've done, you're going to love this. It's so like basic that anyone can do it, right? So 9 bags or 9 cups, 9 vessels that you can put these things in, and you want them to be the same. Okay, so you don't know which is which. This is really important. You take your A4 piece of paper and you can get 12 different pieces out of this. So some star maps have 6, some have 12, and one star map has 13 different points on it. Okay, so in this instance, if you've got one that is 6, you just tear the page in half. Okay, and then you fold it again longwise, and you tear it again down here, and then you'll be able to get 3. So this is all I've done. I've literally not even used scissors. Tear down there, and then you can fold in 3, and you tear down again. So you'll have 6 different star map points. So, one star map is a 6, another one's a 12. If you have one that's a 12, then you just do the same thing, right? So you're going to need 9 pieces of paper plus a little bit, if I can do my maths right. And all you do is you just put, so when you look at the star maps in the book, there's the title of the star map, and then you're just going to put on your piece of paper, all you do, and I'll show you as we go, the star map name at the top, so you can just abbreviate it so it's easy for you to find. And then you're also going to just put the number that it relates to. So this one here is the conscious co-creation star map, 6 steps to conscious co-creation. So you just put 6 steps conscious co-creation, or 6 steps CC, and then number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and you'll be able to come back in here and read it. And you'll see what I mean as we go. So let us get into the energy, reaching up. And then as you breathe out, bringing your hands to your heart center. Just taking a moment to stabilize your own energy. Step into your idea of a sphere of compassion. So you can do this with your nose. You can draw a circle in the air in front of you, both directions. And then draw your nose up and down so that you're choosing to be a conduit of source energy. You can inhale, exhale, turn your head to the left. Inhale and exhale, turn your head to the right. And just allow yourself to really come into this space of being in your center now. So there's lots of activations in the book. For now, I'm just inviting you to step into the sphere, create a safe space for yourself. Let us all call in our I am presence. So I am all that is. I am the one self I am. I am that I am. I am the source of my creations. I am the creator of my reality. I am the creation. I am a multi-dimensional being of love and light. I am StarPeace. I am activating the star map coding in my being. I am the divine matrix. I am sovereign. I am now a channel of pure source energy and receiving the highest guidance from my star families, from my guides and teachers of the purest vibrations of love and light, in all dimensions and all space and time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, anchor your breath down into the center of the earth. And then breathe in from the center of the earth all the way up to your heart. And breathe out, up from your heart, out through the crown of your head, up to our sun, and way up to the source of all that is, however you conceive that. Now breathe in from source all the way down to your heart. Breathe out down your arms. Just for a moment, see yourself really bringing through your soul and starlight consciousness. Now may everyone receive exactly what is for their highest good with this reading, and easily work out how to do these readings for themselves using this simple process until the oracle cards are ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so gently come back. And from here, as I said, you've got 9 bags or 9 cups, all the same. You've tore up all your pieces for each star map. You've done an abbreviated version of, you don't have to write all the details, literally just write out the title and the specific point. And I will take you through a reading which gives some basic details in here, but in the book, there's loads more details, right? So the whole point of this is we're using essentially the cycles that are intrinsic to nature, to humanity, to this planet, to help us to move beyond the false matrix into the divine matrix. So beyond the enslavement grid into the sovereignty grid. And that's in our own consciousness and also in the consciousness of the collective. Because quite a while now, we've been basically living the matrix as the Matrix movies, and many of us are waking up from that. Okay, so without further ado, solstice reading for everybody who is coming up and feeling the impulse to connect with this reading. This is for you, and this is to take us through, really to plan all the way into 6 months from now and even 12 months from now. So what are we going to be celebrating, or what do we need to know now in order to celebrate what we desire to evolve into, accumulate, activate in 6 months' time? And you can also review this 12 months from now as well. Now, what I will say is when we're talking about intentions, and this will be more in the reading when I give you the, sorry, not the reading, the energy update for the year and my predictions for the year ahead. What I would say to you is that the key here is being aware that your desires are not ego-driven desires, but they're actually from your soul, because there's so many things we say we want when actually it's just because we can. And it's like that, well, I feel like I want that, so I'm going to have it. I'm not really going to think about the consequences of it. And those of you who are here as New Earth co-creators, we have a sense of responsibility unlike anyone else, right? So we are considering the impact of our decisions and choices for at least 7 generations beyond now. So whatever it is that you call in, are you then going to be able to maintain it? Are you then going to want to expand from it? Like, what is it that is your purpose here to hold as a frequency and then to send out into the world? And this is the responsibility of the StarSeeds, okay? For us, awakening at this time, the key role for us is that we actually do take seriously that, yes, you could create anything you want, but as you grow and you mature on this path of law of attraction and manifesting consciously and co-creating your reality, you ask, what is for the highest good? What is the win-win-win here? What can I desire that is going to serve at the highest level myself and everyone else involved? That is what I call the choiceless path. And those of you who like what I'm saying, I'm going to make another invitation to you. The Divine Matrix Activation Call is where I take you through a reading and you get a bit of one-on-one time with me, right? To get a sense of how I work and what I activate. And I'm a powerful activator in the sense that I work with people who are typically not at the start of their awakening journey. You will have usually gone through about 15 to 20 years, if not more, of actually being on your own path. Maybe you've worked with other coaches and mentors, but usually you've gone solo and tried to do everything your own, because that's what StarSeeds do. And it certainly was me too. And there comes a point when it's about trusting someone else to shine light on what you cannot see. And so the foundation of all my work is sacred union. It's actually going from toxic love programming to divine love programming, to being able to have the kind of thriving, healthy relationship with another that is a reflection of a thriving, healthy relationship with yourself. And the foundation of that is actually owning your shadow. It's about not rejecting, abandoning, or betraying yourself. This is very, very important. Okay, so that's a taster. But for those of you who are like, you know what, this woman, she's speaking my language, I want to know what she offers and I want to know what is available, then go ahead and book yourself a desire mapping call or a sacred union call. They are free presently until early January. So now's the time to get involved. Go to rozyglow.com. About 3/4 of the way down the page, you'll see that there's a Thrive Paradigm activation. I give you a couple of goodies for joining my mailing list, but also this is where you get to book these calls. So I'll put the links in the text box after, but please just make sure that you do make the most of this opportunity if you're serious about wanting to do work with me. And just to give you a baseline figure for the the Divine Navigation, not the Divine Navigation, the Divine Matrix Activation calls, everything, I've been told by my guides is to kind of work with the 1444 energy. So that's £144, 44 pence. That's the divine matrix activation call. I work on the basis of 1,444, 14,444. So depending on what you actually want to do with me, I mainly work one-on-one, though I do have wonderful group offerings that I oversee my other coaches and we work together in them. So, you know, there's something for everybody, including online multidimensional yoga that I'm teaching live twice a week. So there is something for every budget. The key is step forward and stretch yourself beyond what you currently know. On that note, let's get going with the reading. Okay, have a little rub of your hands, have a little shake, and let's just see now. What's the first one? Because the way that these play out is very much about the order that they come in as well. So you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about. So what is for the collective now? First one. So I've lifted the bag up. I don't know what's got in here. I'm just going to pull out a card and I invite you to write this down and then you can listen back. Okay, so the first card that we've got here, you can see what I've written, hopefully, is the 6 fuel shifts. Okay, no one can read my writing, so don't worry about it. I should have been a doctor. Ego to highest self. So this is this star map here. Ego to highest self is the first shift we're all making as we're moving through this solstice point. It is ego just means me, small me, separate from source me, need to control everything to feel safe me, terrified of pain me. Highest self me is the me from the future that already embodies all I aspire to. The eternal me that is a unique droplet of the divine source ocean of love. So this is the first invitation, is that every one of us this 6 months ahead to the next year gets used to putting our soul in control. This is the ego to highest self activation. And what it means is exactly what I said before this reading started, is what do you want? Why do you want it? Right? Getting clear on that and asking, so owning your desires fully and then surrendering them to what's for the highest good. So that's your starting point for aligning with your highest self and the best possible wants, needs, desires you could have at this point, right? In terms of how to fulfill your needs and evolve your wants so that they're aligned with your highest self. The next one, so this is the next part of the bridge. Interesting, we've picked divine human leadership. So those of you who are watching this are on a path of leadership already, and this is about integrity. So what does integrity mean? Well, integrity is the pillar of basically being in alignment with what you say you want and what you say you do. So behind closed doors, can you say to yourself that the way that you're behaving, the way that you're showing up is aligned with what you teach, what you preach, what you say? Now, I want to say this with a caveat that it is really important we recognize that every one of us is falling short all of the time on some level, okay? Because how we want to be and how we are two different things. This is the foundation of the word sinning, aiming at something and missing the mark, right? It's not meant to be full of shame and damnation and all the going to hell business that, you know, we've bought into. It's actually about ultimately owning that there is the highest ideal and then there's the reality. So our perfection really is our imperfection. So when it comes to integrity in this context, it's really just about doing your best, all right? Doing your best, not trying to spin a line for people. You're not selling snake oil to anyone, you're being authentic, right? So there are 6 pillars to divine human leadership. Integrity sits in between accountability and transparency. And you know, what this is about is, yeah, walking your talk, right? Being accountable, not projecting. And at the same time, the transparency piece is about being honest about where you are, right? And sharing what is required. That doesn't mean you have to air your dirty laundry to everybody. It's just about your willingness to be seen, to see yourself and to be seen. And this is where integrity comes in. Okay, so our next one. Now consider that again, the way that these work together. So you have ego to highest self-alignment, walking the path of integrity. Then we get to the 13 C's. Okay, now the 13 C's, this is the one star map, and I want to show it to you, that has 13 points on it. And I was guided, this is the goddess path 13. Okay, there's different reasons why 13, 6, 8, 12, it's all in the book. I encourage you to check out the book if you're curious about 3 to 5D consciousness and what type of new earth co-creator you are. This is the future. Okay, the 13 C's of co-creating the new earth are all about how we work together. So co-creation, when we get this piece, it's about asking the question, who are you co-creating with? So this is the name of the game. This is what we're being invited to again and again. Are you co-creating with your fear programming, your ego, or are you co-creating with your highest self? It comes right back to that first star map, right? Which one are you co-creating with? Your fear-based programming that is saying, I want this so that I feel safe? Or are you co-creating with the version of you that is, I'd like to have, I want to embody this frequency of safety. I'm calling in the frequency of safety. I'm aligning with the highest path available for me, and I'm co-creating the frequency of safety. I'm activating that in me, and I'm calling in the opportunities to fulfill my impact in this world, to fulfill my role, whilst also choosing to feel safe as I do it, because that is your birthright. You know, for us to actually do what we're here to do as StarSeeds, if we don't feel safe, we go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We contract and we go into our fear programming. So creating a sense of safety is key. Co-creating with your highest self is key. So the path of co-creating with your highest self is getting clear on how you want to feel, right? The things you say you want, the reason you want them is because there's a feeling attached to them, attached to you actually having what you say you want. So get clear on what that feeling is and bring that forward. And to co-create with your highest self means to put your soul in control and to surrender control to your soul and to be really honest with yourself when you notice that you're going back to trying to control things from your fear-based programming. Again, if this is like stuff that you're like, interesting, but I'm not quite sure what she's talking about, book your call. Let's clarify all of this. So we now move into the next star map. You can see how there's this shaping up of, it's all about putting the highest self in control. Now, your next one is liberation from limitation. This is the star map that relates to our course, Liberation from Limitation. It's a 6-step process for co-creating consciously. So working with your conscious mind to create what you want rather than what you don't want. Now, your conscious mind is only in control for up to like 6 minutes of every hour. So it's not in control all the time, but it is like the bouncers at the door that will either allow you to go where you want to go or prevent you. So you want to get your conscious mind on board. And step 4 is actually body-based signals and external signs. So in relation to what we've said, highest self, ego to highest self upgrades, being co-creating with your highest self and actually allowing yourself to be coming from the place of integrity within you. So walking the path where you're leading by example, that is a key element to this reading, okay? This is where the message is, how are inherited fear narratives and superstitions affecting your perception of external signs and your body signals? Are you seeing through a 3D, 4D, or 5D lens? Switch up. So again, if this is like, what's she saying? The book tells you everything about the different lenses that we see through. And I'm here to support people to learn to see the world through a multi-dimensional lens, to recognize that some parts of you are going to be seeing from 3D, some parts from 4D, some parts from 5. And it's how you allow yourself to focus on what you want to energize. So in this instance, let's look at an example. You see one magpie. In England, there's this statement, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy. So if you've been programmed to believe that one magpie is a signal of sorrow coming, then you'll see the magpie contract with fear and go, oh God, what's coming? Something bad's going to happen. I know something bad's going to happen. I've just seen a single magpie. Well, guess what? That's the vibrational frequency you're putting out. So something is going to come in to confirm that for you, because your reticular activation system is looking out for that. It is tweaked to that and it wants to find meaning with that. So let's look at it slightly differently. How about if you see a single magpie, you can look at it and go, okay, let me be on alert. Let me just be aware. Okay, let me just be aware. Hello, Magpie. What is your message for me today? I will increase my awareness. I will be more vigilant. Thank you for the message to be present. I know for me, whenever I see one, I'm like, okay, just be careful on the roads today. Really, really kind of be present. Don't be on autopilot. And so I see it as a warning that is a helpful warning rather than something that is going to be done to me and I've got no choice, right? Another example would be a concept of being hexed or the evil eye or something like that. You know, many cultures, I'm Greek in my origins, have this concept. And because so many people believe in it, it gives it power. So when I'm talking about your inherited fear narratives, it's false evidence, expectation, appearance, appearing real. False expectations, emotions, appearing real. Okay. So the way that you could work with this is, let's use Mercury retrograde as an example. Most people who are into astrology don't like Mercury retrograde because they feel everything's going to stop working because Mercury's gone retrograde and it's the planet of communication and telecoms and all that kind of thing. Well, we're learning now to be less fatalistic. We just know that this is a time to go back over the details, right? Or we know that maybe there's going to be some refinement in what we've put out into the world. So it's all about how you interpret things rather than the fatalistic view. So how can we actually interpret this in the context of this reading now? So we've talked about higher self, so ego to higher self programming, being in integrity, putting your soul in control. And we're talking really about co-creating with your highest. So in this context, I would be checking in with when you go into contraction, when your body goes into contraction and is in anticipatory anxiety, and to ask the question, why? Why am I now in this place where I have decided to contract? What's the story that's coming up for me? Maybe, I mean, another example of a superstition is walking under ladders is bad luck, right? Whatever you've been taught, especially under the age of 7, yeah, is going to go in deep, and it's a program that you live by because it's what you expect. And by virtue of what you expect, you will get what you expect, right? Even if it's not what you want. So this is an invitation to really look at how your internal narratives are affecting your experience. And putting your highest self in control of everything allows you to say, well, how can I see this differently? So if you ask the question, why have I contracted now? You'll find what the story is, right? Because when you see this, this is what happens. Well, last time this happened, da, 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 da. And then you ask the question, well, how can I see things differently? How can things be different to how I expect? And you start to change things. You have the control, the power to change them. Next one. Oh, we've got 2 here. Interesting. So I'm going to go with that. So first of all, we've got fearless SOS. What is my body telling me? Now that is very relevant to what I just said. You see how they work together? And the next one is be the change. So fearless SOS, number 11, be the change. And number 6, what is my body telling me? So I'm going to bring you the star map for fearless SOS. And you would just find this in the book, okay? In the book, each star map has a chapter. The details are there. You write it all out. And then you could record yourself a reading on your voice memo on your phone and just say, okay, this is how I'm seeing it currently. So number 6, what is my body telling me? Where do I feel the fear, the pain? Put your hands on there and breathe into it. Now, this star map is all about getting you out of a sympathetic nervous system response, which is your ego programming, into a parasympathetic nervous system response where you can hear your highest self as quickly as possible. There's 12 different ways of resetting your nervous system, all on this star map, okay? So coming back to what we just did a minute ago, if you're ever lost, you don't know where you're going, notice where you've just come from. It will give you a sense of where you're going next. So we just looked at body-based signals and external signs and how our bodies perceive our environment and the stories we tell ourselves. So when you notice yourself having gone into a contracted state or you're experiencing pain in your body, if you put your hand where the contraction is, where the pain is, if possible, or you get someone to do that for you and you just breathe, the story that's locked up in your cellular memory will start to come up. The story that is keeping you in this fight, flight, freeze, fawn response because it's too scary to let it out. No one ever gave you the tools or showed you how to manage your pain, how to move through something uncomfortable so that you don't resist it. And so this is the blocked stuff in us that is our duty to overcome, to resolve, to bring light to. We didn't create it, but it's ours to clear. So this is where all of the coaching programs I offer, all of the work that I do is to give you the tools to be able to manage your own discomfort so you don't fear it, so you don't block yourself from moving through life, because the only way out is through, my friends. If you're not scared of pain, if you're not scared of suffering, if you're not scared of lack because you know how to move yourself through it, doesn't that then just open the door to more of everything that you want? Yes, it does. And that's where you're co-creating with your higher self. So the next one is be the change, visualize it, feel it, act as if it already is. This is law of attraction. So in relation to what we've just been saying, relating this to this solstice reading. Okay, so in the time of old, we would self-sacrifice. Out of love, we would sacrifice ourselves to save others. The new world that is being co-created needs leaders in the new world that know how to lead from a new world perspective. So you're no good to anyone dead, neither am I, okay? What's important is that we don't save others at the cost of ourselves. It's never going to work, or the planet. But actually what we do is we raise the frequency through our own example, and we lead, we model how to be in this world. So being the change is literally doing what I've just said. It's about perceiving when you've gone, noticing when you've gone into contraction, into fear, into fight, flight, freeze or fawn, into worst case scenario, into doubt, and being with yourself in that moment, saying, okay, I'm just experiencing a bit of fear or frustration or whatever. I'm just going to sit with it. This has come up. I'm currently interpreting it this way, but I'm open to seeing it from a different point of view. So I'm calling in my highest self-consciousness. I'm breathing into whatever pain story is showing up for me. I'm releasing it. I'm working with my tools. Get in touch with me if you need some tools to overcome this. And in so doing, you shift your energy and you shift your frequency, and others will feel that you are resonating at a different level, and then they can meet you there. And this is where those who are meant to leave your life will, and those who are meant to stay with you will. And you can't stay the same to try and keep people with you. That is detrimental to them and to you. Let's keep going. You see how this is fun? I love working with these, and I can't wait till I actually have the cards as well, because you'll have like 9 different star maps, 9 different backings, and different ways that you can work with them. This is like the basic reading. All right, so where are we? We are at the birth stage. So in the birth star map, the 6 stages of birth, we have pulled number 5, the pushing stage or the birthing stage. Now this means full effort required, no going back moment. Take your position, gather your courage and strength, and get that baby born. The only way out is through, so do it. I said this a moment ago, didn't I? Now, what most people don't know, because we spend our lives watching women giving birth on their backs, screaming for their lives, and then all young women, unfortunately, are scarred for life thinking that's how you give birth. There are many other ways to give birth. I have personally caught babies, very, very easy to catch. Not on purpose, I might say. I'm a doula. It's happened when we haven't been able to get the midwife to us in time. We've been at a home birth, but I've seen babies be born very, very easily. When the alignment of the baby's head and the mother's pelvis are in optimal alignment, her cervix and the baby's head, and also when a mother is trusting the process, so she's not in fear every time she feels a surge, a contraction. The most amazing births. I've seen babies slip out with no one touching anything, right? Just the baby coming out. So most of the time in labor, it's about surrender. It's not about pushing. It's not about efforting. It's about releasing, letting go, surrendering. But this pushing stage, when you get here, this is the bit where you work with your body's urge to purge. And this is what the solstice energy is about. The urge to purge. What is coming up for you? You know, if you're in the southern hemisphere right now and it's all bright lights, what is impossible for you not to see that you know needs to be dealt with in order for you to move forward? Maybe you are now seeing that this relationship you're in is not the right relationship for you. It's not going to serve you. It's going to limit you. Maybe you've come to understand that your job is not going to allow you to grow in the direction you want. Maybe you've realized that the soul path that you want to follow requires you to have some structures in place, because it's not like everything's just going to be handed to you because you're following your soul purpose. Maybe you don't even know what your purpose is, and that's what's making you feel despondent and lacking, right? We all need purpose. And so in the Southern Hemisphere, something that was glaringly obvious will be brought to light at this point in time, right? And you get to celebrate all the other stuff. In the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the depths of the darkness. What have I been hiding? What have I not been owning? What have I been talking about but not changing? Just own at this point what you don't want to take with you in the new year. Do not worry about how you're going to release it. Just own what you are ready to release. The self-destructive patterns that keep you playing small, for example, the patterns of behavior that limit your impact, the expectations, fears, and doubts that stop you from taking the courageous step you most need to take. You know, if you know you're done with whatever, maybe you want to stop drinking alcohol, you want to stop smoking, or you want to stop watching endless mindless TV or whatever, just call that in. Okay, I'm now calling in the version of me that no longer feels the desire to do that anymore, right? It doesn't have to be self-punishment. It's about planting a seed and owning what you want. Now's the time to own what you want and what you don't want. Okay, so with the pushing stage, a little bit more in relation to what we've just said. When it comes to putting your soul in control and inviting your highest self to take over, your ego programming is going to kick off like you wouldn't believe and try and keep you doing what you normally do. It gives you all sorts of wonderful stories to follow, right? What I'm going to say is this: commit to putting your soul in control, commit to surrendering control to your soul. Personally, I can put my soul in control easily. Surrendering control to my soul when something isn't showing up the way I think it should at the time that it should still throws me into patterns of, oh, maybe I should do something. And actually, all I need to do is surrender, call in a miracle that allows a shift in perspective for me so I can see how I'm being gifted exactly what I'm calling in now and how I'm being prepared to receive what I desire. Because the you that you are now can't have what you want. Otherwise, you'd already have it. The you that you'll become by virtue of wanting what you do is the you that will have stretched yourself beyond what you know in order to receive what you desire, because you don't just decide you're not going to have a toxic relationship anymore and suddenly you have healthy relationships. It's that decision that gives you the courage and allows you to make the commitment to yourself to invest in you in such a way that you will work with someone who will help you to reprogram your subconscious. The foolish behavior is to think you can do it all yourself. None of us can. Okay, that's the ego saying, I don't need anyone else. I'm really scared, so I'm just going to do it myself, and no one needs to know what's really going on here. Well, that ain't going to change the pattern. It will just look different on the surface, and then after a while, you will see that it's exactly the same, just dressed up differently. And I've worn the t-shirt on that one, my friends. Now married to the most phenomenal man in the world. Do we have challenging moments? Of course we do. As more of our shadow comes to light and we see each other, we go, oh, okay, all right, where am I now? Where is this person? How am I showing up? But the beautiful thing is the commitment, the deep commitment is there. And the desire for sacred union is there in both of us. It's not one of us is committed and the other one isn't. That's the difference, right? And it's a lot of fun. So now, the next star map, we've got 2 more after this, and then we'll bring it all together. This is the 6 co-creation steps star map. Now, this is the foundation of the course Fearless, Loved Up and Limitless. Last year I was letting everyone know that I was going to stop running the group program. It is now hosted by my wonderful colleague, an amazing coach who has been working with me side by side since 2010. But actually, you know, as a coach, she's been, well, running Fearless in her sleep, basically. She knows it inside out. So she's the main coach. I oversee, I still step in and take elements and some of the one-to-one work involved. It's a hybrid course, so we always work in small groups. I just want you to know that, because for people to do the depth of this work, there has to be trust, there has to be commitment, there has to be resilience. And so we keep things small, okay? And I mean 6 to 12 max, okay? And then you get extra support as well. So if you like that idea, then this is really something to explore. And in my one-to-one work, I always take people through this. So step 4 is subconscious mind detox and reprogram. Clear up subconscious resistance and let go of trying to control what is not yours to control. All right. Do we all know the Serenity prayer? Got me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. That's what this is about, my friends. So here's the thing about subconscious programming, and it ties up with what I just said a minute ago. You can't control your subconscious programming because it's in your subconscious. That means it's not in control of your control. So Your conscious mind, and if you haven't yet seen the video at the top of my YouTube channel, which is an interview with the phenomenal Dr. Bruce Lipton, who I'm so blessed to have had the time and he gave me the opportunity to interview him. He talks about the conscious and the subconscious mind in beautiful detail, and that man is worth listening to. He knows what he's talking about. What I'll say is basically we have our own subconscious programming, which is, I would say, from our conception, even preconception to a degree, but that's another point. Bruce would say from the last 3 months of pregnancy can be scientifically proven. But if you think about it, the mother's energetics as well, from before she even conceived, through conception and through the formation of the first organs, as the embryo becomes the embryo becomes a fetus and then a baby, right? What happens here is the nervous system response of the mother imprints on the baby. Okay, and I'm going to do other videos about everything that all parents should know before they conceive, and what you can do if you're already pregnant or after pregnancy, so you're not worried about the impact. The bottom line is do this work, right? It's really powerful. So the point is, subconscious will influence the pregnancy. So it relates to the pregnancy, the birth, the first hour, the first month, the first year of life, and then the first 7 years of life. This is the foundation of our programming. Now, you have your own personal experiences. So you have your familial programming, mums and dads programming, subconscious programming embedded in you. And you may be adopted, you may have gone to foster care, you may have had grandparents bring you up, but still those first primal, if you like, patternings come from the biological parents. And then they're either enhanced, those initial programs, by those that bring you up, or they're cancelled out, which can be a good thing, right? So we all inherit a legacy from our bloodlines. Take the best, leave the rest is the key. Many people work with their own personal stuff, and they'll do something specific, maybe timeline therapy or EFT or NLP or quantum shifts, all that kind of thing. But they haven't actually detoxed from the collective subconscious. So, we have socioeconomic programming, we have gender war programming, we have programming around the masculine, the patriarchy, programming around the feminine and the matriarchy. We don't have a concept of a feminine divine in our current system, right? For at least 9,000 years, it's all been about God being a man, whoever God or whatever God is. And this idea that there's punishment as well in the afterlife. I mean, this is all research it. It's not quite as we're told, right? So you have, let's just say, programming around pain and around fear that keeps us complacent and keeps us compliant and keeps us looking for something to make us feel better instantly rather than dealing with the root cause of the issue as well. It's not either or, it's both. We also have guilt, blame, shame, sexual programming. We have judgment as the worst kind of programming, because that keeps us in division and it also keeps us in duality. And we have lack programming on every level. And I've worked with billionaires, I've worked with multimillionaires, and I continue to do so. And here's what I'll say. The lack wounding is huge, okay? Many people who have much, as in a lot, are trying to fill a hole, right? An emptiness within. And that goes for fame, that goes for income, it goes for accolades, it goes for resource requirements, so the whole being assets, it goes for all sorts of things. Because if you feel like you don't have enough, it doesn't matter how much you have, it will never be enough until you address that issue. Okay, so the point is, in relation to this reading, in order for you to be able to fully access your highest self-consciousness, it's one thing to call it in and to decide you want to be guided by it. It's another thing to then clear up the subconscious programming that says it's not safe to, it's not desirable to, it's not helpful to. Many of us have been programmed, for example, to believe that if we follow our soul calling, we'll never be rich, right? Or something's not worth doing if it's not hard work. There's all sorts of stuff that undermines us. And I know there's so many people talking in the world of manifesting about, if you're not doing this, then you're not doing it right. If you're not this, that there are different levels of ascension, right? There are different levels of spiritual growth. But the ascended masters are pretty damn humble, right? The ascended masters have been through a lot of trials and tribulations to get where they've got to. And essentially, one thing we learn along the way is that what worked at one level is not necessarily going to work at another. And when we do say, thy will be done, we're not actually giving our power away to an external force. We're calling in our God self, our highest self, our source self to lead the way. Thy will be done. Get my ego out of the way. What is for the best here for me and for everyone else? Did you hear what I said? For me and for everyone else, not for everyone else and then me. This has been the biggest lesson for me. So I was always service to others orientated, to the point that detrimental to myself, to the point that I didn't feel even it was okay to have an income that was like a decent salary. This was where I started with my first business, with my yoga business. And many souls who are on an awakening journey who've taken a path of being a healer or a therapist or a yoga teacher, some form of wayshower, have bought into subconscious vows of poverty, chastity, all sorts, where you didn't realize it came with the job, but it does. So learning where you're struggling in your life on the surface now, there will be subconscious programs around that now must be addressed for you to get to the next level. And that's why that bit, to me, is not something you can do with a digital program. It's not something you can do on your own, because your ego will be very good at hiding its intentions to keep you where you're used to being. And unless someone can lovingly mirror that to you and say, hey, are you seeing what's happening here? And how about we approach it this way? And then you have your breakthrough and you see how to repattern for yourself. You get where I'm going. Okay, 2 more and we have completed this reading. So the point is for you to get where you want to in terms of putting your highest self in control in this life. And in fact, let's take the 2. And being able, because this is the point, is anything that you're going to want to materialize in 6 months to a year from now, you're going to want to be materializing something that your highest self wants rather than your ego programming. Otherwise, you are going to end up feeling, well, hard done by and not actually getting what you feel you're supposed to. So we have 2 self-love statements that have come up. Now, the self-love star map, so you can actually see it, it's here, is basically one where it has 6 affirmations. Okay, this is the one that doesn't have any numbers. It just has 6 affirmations. And I talk in the book about the hexagonal to the octagonal timeline shift, which is the false matrix to the divine matrix upgrade. But again, it's in the book, so I'm not going to go too much into that now. In the sacred geometry of these star maps, you'll see some of them are seed of life and then some of them are lotus of life. I haven't got any that are flower of life, which is interesting. But they're all in our evolution of how even our light body goes from a 6-pointed star to a diamond shape. So here are the statements. Notice how they feel to you. I am forgiving of myself and accept all that I feel, think, and experience with loving compassion. This is how you dissolve your ego. I am forgiving of myself and accept all that I feel, think, and experience with loving compassion. That's one of them. The other one. When I feel blamed, judged, or projected upon, I am only triggered if I have insecurities I have not brought light to. This is just another invitation to love myself. This is how we dissolve. We start to dissolve the resistance to our growth. One more time. When I feel blamed, judged, or projected upon, I am only triggered if I have insecurities I have not brought light to. This is an invitation. This is another invitation to love myself. So there you have it. What I would be doing with those statements is I would be memorizing them and saying them to myself and preparing for the festive period ahead, or if it's past Christmas when you watch this, we will have the Oracle cards available very soon. Okay, and this is just a reminder to everybody to make sure that you follow the link in the text box and register your interest. And then when we've actually got them available for sale and we're pre-ordering, we will let you know and you can purchase them, and then we can give you a set of the PDFs if that's what you would like to do. And if you book your Divine Matrix activation call, you will obviously get the PDFs as well as a gift from me. All right, 12 stages of creation. The one that we've got is decay. So technically this time of year is actually number 11, which is decomposition, but number 9 is decay. Okay, so this is before death. Now, this is the decaying of your ego programming. Look at it this way. Every dog has its day. Then it starts to go deaf, blind, etc. The times have evolved beyond this creation. The potential has peaked like a fire burning out. So this is how you interpret this, is basically to say, okay, I am willing now to release the ways of old. I'm willing now to let go of my fears running the show. I am now allowing the fact that till this point in time, my ego programming has been the best bet I've had to stay safe in this crazy world. All right. However, now I know there are other ways. I can put my soul in control. I can be led by my highest self. I don't need to stay true to the programming I inherited. I can actually be discerning, and I can make a choice to take the best and leave the rest. And everybody in the world today is learning to see through a different lens. More on that in the energy update I'll do for the year and the predictions for the year ahead. But for now, I just want to say, if you've enjoyed this, thank you for sharing, for commenting, for subscribing, for liking, for hitting the notifications tab so you know every time I'm live. And if you're catching this on the pre-order page of the Star Maps, let me know if you've got any questions whatsoever about how you can use your Star Maps. And another way that you can actually work with them in the book is if you isolate the chapters that are the Star Maps and you just take that section. So let's just say it's that section of the book, and you ask a question, you can flip the pages and then just see where you land and point your finger there. And that will be, so I've landed on chapter 20, Star Map 5, the 6 steps to liberation from limitation. And it is what you focus on grows. Okay, so I've just done that myself and it's taken me there. There's some really nice little descriptions in here that take it deeper than what I've shared with you. But for now, that's how you can do it, with pieces of paper and bags or pots or whatever you've got. And as I said, the main thing really is to play, use your imagination. How do these different messages relate to each other? How can you interpret them? And if you prefer a done for you service, then you know that you can book your Divine Matrix activation call with me, and I will take you through a personal reading. For anyone who would like to benefit from a complimentary short call with me, you're ready to invest, you don't know what you want to invest in yet, you're interested in the work that we've got on offer, then book your call now. I am only taking calls in January. I'm off now for Christmas. So this is your opportunity to book a call, either a desire mapping or a sacred union call, if you're serious about taking your next step. And then we'll get you, well, aware of the various options. This is just where we get clear on where you are, where you want to be. And then if it feels good to go further and explore actually signing up with something, we'll have a separate call for that. Okay, so I really want to honor you at this stage of your journey. This is my work. Okay, I show up here for free, but this is my work. This is what I do. And I'm on a mission to share StarPeace with the world, to start a global movement, which already started. We're just energizing it. So you can really support this, my dear friend, dear Starseed, by buying the book, buying the Kindle version. If you love it, if you've got something to say about it, leaving a review, that would be awesome. And participating in the options that are available to you to energize StarPeace and the collective consciousness of humanity. Because StarPeace inspires personal peace. And when we connect our personal peace, we radiate that out, and together we co-create world peace. That's how powerful we are. And on that note, I say goodbye for now. Lots and lots of love. Have a beautiful solstice.